What's up, humans, and welcome to a new Psicoactivo. Happy Monday, everybody. Okay, so today was the Reddit AMA of Michael, the civilian whistleblower, Whistling Mike on X. And I gathered 6 of his answers to questions from Redditors that I think we need to take a look at. And let's see if he answered some of the most pressing questions. My most pressing questions were on his X account, he alluded to the Hellfire missile that hit an alleged UAP, the video that was shown at the hearings. He alluded to it, and he said that it wasn't what it seemed. So he answered that question. He also answered the question about the 4K material that he allegedly has in a little more detail, so we know what that is. And also, he clarified his reasoning for doing what he does and the reasoning for staying anonymous as he's done over all this time, despite being confirmed by people from Congress and some senators. And as I told you, I did see screenshots that convinced me that he was really doing this and he was really talking to these people. So that's why I decided to report on him. But I did want to know a little bit more because a lot of things weren't that clear still. So I think this was a good idea to do this Reddit AMA. He was still a little dodgy with some of the answers, and he remains on the same position that he wants for this deal that he's looking for to go through. He just needs a signature from one of these Congress people so the data can be released. So presumably he does have really interesting data, videos and everything, but he's not going to release anything until he gets that signature and until he gets this deal. And just to be clear, Michael does not think that this is an NHI problem. He remains open to the NHI stuff, but he hasn't seen any evidence. And another thing that I do want to make clear, though, is that although he seems like he's against the disclosure effort, I don't think that on the many different statements that he's made, I don't think he's against the movement. I think he's like just trying to analyze this from a more pragmatic standpoint. And he identifies the many problems there are with the controlled disclosure movement and with what Congress has been trying to do and with the failed UAPDA for the 3rd year in a row. That's all I think he's doing. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But let's see what he's talking about here. So let's add the first question, which is one of the most pressing ones, in my opinion. They ask him, Michael, are you the gentleman with the 4K video of UAP? If so, would you release it? He said, yes. All the evidence, like 4K video, is going to be put into a folder. So he does have some for release. The elected member who signs off on the funding would get access to that folder, even if they aren't on a big committee like intelligence. Then they would release it to beat the system or at least know the truth and where it is being hitting at. So it is not up to me. It's the question again of why all these UAP cowboys, quote unquote, won't sign off on funding this for answers. That's interesting. I don't know what you guys think about that one, but that's the answer we get. So he does have material that he can show, but he won't show it until he gets his paycheck. That's going to be difficult, I think. And he's going to be roughly criticized for that, but he's always been clear about what he wants, at least, you know? So, yeah, let's go to the next one. I find this maddening because you have evidence that could change the history of mankind, but you're waiting on the highest bidder. So this is a question that I've asked Michael directly, and stuff that I've told him directly is like, this could change things. This could really help. If you do have smoking gun evidence that there are anomalous objects up there, whether they're human or NHI or whatever, if you do have a way to present this and you're not doing it, you will be criticized for that. And this is his response. He says, I went in as a business. I was asked to come in. I didn't request to. The people who came in only brought stories. So they wanted me to come in because I had the goods. This has always been about a deal. Please familiarize yourself with my story. Sadly, that's true. And he's always been forthcoming about that he wants his deal. So, and he does claim to have this evidence. Still have to see it. And if no congressperson signs off on this, we're not going to get to see jack shit. Just telling you that from that perspective. Next question. Again, will you release the Black Triangle craft video footage to the world? All the information you want is ready to go. Just need one elected member to sign off on it. Again, those who talk loudest aren't always doing what they claim to be. Next question. Why do you think the government lost interest in a deal to buy your technology? Because that happened. Do you think a black project already has the ability to detect propulsion signatures and their emergence from spacetime with a neutrinos array? They were informed, so they fobbed you off. And then Michael says, DC runs on money. My company makes trillions in assets obsolete. Assets controlled by companies who donate to campaigns and buy 25,000 a plate dinner. It's just easier for them to try and take it and keep me quiet using the Invention Secrecy Act. As they were finding out, I'm not rolling over like the folks before me did. If they want a war, they can't win. They got it in trying to strong arm me. Basically, what he's claiming is that he has basically sort of like a dead man switch already. This is what I'm understanding to this. And they tried to get the information out of him through legal means and through accusations. That's what he's claiming. And they haven't been able to do so. If I understood this wrongly, please let me know, Michael, because that's what I gather, right? They don't move in against you more directly because you seem to have sort of like a dead man switch already. Is that accurate? Let me know. Then we got this one. All of these members of Congress and the executive branch already know your identity. Why are you choosing to stay publicly anonymous? I'm sure you have great reasons. I'm just curious if you're willing to share what any of them are. From the sound of it, China already knows you and your work. So it's not clear it helped much with your personal security. Mike responds, good question. Tim Phillips on many podcasts, including Mick West, said I was extorting the United States government. And that based on what he was told by SSCI Senator staff that I was not safe to have around one's family. So my challenge to Tim is to get this corrected with my receipts. As of right now, my name release would be tied to a guy that a current USG employee said was extorting the USG and also going to sell it to another country, as well as being mentally unstable. That doesn't work well for my business, personal life, community standing, kids at school, or their friends, which is why Tim Phillips did it. I see it's a nasty business. Next and last question, and I think the most interesting one of them all, because tell me if you read this in the same way. So he was asked, you said on your X feed that you have seen more than what has been released regarding the Hellfire video. So what is the rest of the video? Another great question. Let's talk about this a little. It would appear that even more than Congressman Burlison and I have received a dead drop of that video. So he received that video as well. They are all different durations. Huh. So who would have all our contact information? And why are they all showing us different or incomplete endings? Consider that video as untrustworthy. My view goes to a top cover camera view and it crashes. Whoa. Either broke apart when it hit the water or right before. Hard to tell, but it goes down. This is a different version of what is being told by people who showed that video. I don't know if Representative Burleson has a more incomplete version of that video, but Mike is saying here that he got a dead drop as well of the same video that has more seconds to it, and the object crashes. That's interesting. I didn't hear about that before, but I want to hear what you guys have to say about it because this is a new development of this Hellfire video. And based on everything that Michael has been doing and saying, I can already see a lot of people not believing what he's saying. But I don't know. Maybe Burlison has a comment about this. Maybe Burleson knew about this. Would be nice if we could ask him so he could tell us what he knows. But yeah, that's interesting. More information on this Hellfire video that, according to Michael, it crashes. So I don't know. For me, and I've already told you this video maybe shouldn't have been shown because it kind of eclipsed all the great testimony that we heard at the hearing. And now with this new information, it affects it even more, I think. So let me know what you think about it in the comments. What do you think about the questions? There are many more. I'm going to leave the entire AMA in the description so you guys can check it out. It lasted for about 2 hours, a little more. Thank you to Michael for responding to questions. And I have my own question to Michael. Where do you think this is going, your entire situation? Do you think you could get that signature? And if you don't get it, and you do have the means to present this smoking gun evidence, what would be a good persuasion for you to release it if you don't get your way with the government? Would you go to private industry? And if you do get your money from private industry, would you release the information after you got your way? Because I think people want to see this, and I think they deserve it because it is allegedly displaying technology that could help humanity if it's real. So, what would it take if the government doesn't do what you want? What would it take for you to release this information? That is my question to you, Michael. So, let me know. You can respond on X if you want. That'd be really cool if you could answer it in detail. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Let me know what you think in the comments about Michael and the Reddit AMA that he did, about the 4K evidence, about the Hellfire missile video that apparently the object crashes, according to Michael, because he also got a dead drop of the same video, but it lasted longer than the one that Burleson got, allegedly. Let me know what you think. If you like the content you see, I'm going to ask you to like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. That's all you need to do in order to help us, and it is what helps us the most, so thank you. But if you want to support us in other ways, there's a few links down there you can choose from. You can become a member on YouTube, or you can support us through KGRA. Anything you choose to do is always appreciated, so thank you. And that's it for me today on this video, but I'll see you guys in the next one. Remember, stay curious and inquisitive like Michael, always. Bye.